Good morning and welcome to Ask the Expert, an award-winning daily series from 8:30 to 9 a.m. to help small businesses. You can ask any questions in the comments or use the hashtag QBATE on Twitter. If you need any more advice, you can join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook, where the accountants and business experts are on hand 24/7. During this live session, we will be running a poll, so please do engage with it and I'll reveal the results at the end. So for those who don't know me yet, my name is Eva Mrazikova and I am accountancy market specialist and AAT licensed accountant. So in my practice, I have been working with clients and with the practices to help them to bring efficiencies into workplace and how to manage better the workflow, how to be more efficient, and how to make the most of the automatization. Obviously, we would be helping a lot of clients during the COVID, whether it was furlough advice or any loan advice. I would have overseen also payroll and VAT, and also building up bookkeeping department within the practice. So my experience is quite varied, but I believe that is kind of giving me better insight into what issues the businesses are facing. Just a really quick reminder, in case somebody doesn't know yet, we have the tax return deadline that is coming on the 31st of January. So it is for the tax return that just ended on the 5th of April 2020. So I would hope that most of you have this all done, but if you don't, please use the remaining couple of weeks to bring your records up to date and submit your tax return, or speak to your accountant in case you are running out of time. Just one thing to bear in mind, because the situation quite changed, many people working from home, so bear in mind that there are extra expenses that would be allowable for you to claim, such as working from home, or if you needed to buy any equipment or anything like that for the purposes of your work. Probably the best would be, again, to speak to your accountant to help you decide what is allowable and what is not. So really it has to be fully and exclusively for the business purposes, but your accountant will be able to advise you on that. As we are living in difficult times, and this would be the question that I would maybe be asked a lot, or clients would have asked me what to do. I would like to talk about how would you future-proof your business in 2021. Because this is the time where we need to reflect and maybe step back a little bit and reevaluate, reassess what we are doing. So I have kind of 8 things that I would recommend to think about. So first thing, take advantage of the technology. So we know that the times rapidly changed, and the COVID and whole scenario of working from home really accelerated the digitalization and automatization. So if you're still not on board, make sure that you look into how to keep your records in a digital form, how to make the most of the artificial intelligence, and also historically, you would have to be tied to the office, to your desktop computer to process some work, to work in your accountancy package software. But now everything is kind of digital on the cloud, or maybe hosted still in some cases. But the beauty of it is that you can access your records anytime and anywhere. So you can kind of make the decisions more quicker, or you can action things that you need more quicker. So use this time to review all of this, what you are using, how digitalized, how on board you are, and that will really be depending on the business. The other thing would be reviewing your creditors and debtors position. So make sure that you don't have owed money for a long time. Speak to your clients, agree the terms. Maybe if they paid you within 60 days, try to get them to pay within 30 days. And the other way, try to speak to your supplier, communicate, make sure that you are on top of it. Don't be burying your head in the sand. Review your credit control policy. From this kind of naturally evolves the cash flow planning. So once you have the overview of your creditors and debtors, you can be kind of planning your future expenses, your future incomings, and kind of having a bit more idea how you stand, how cash flow healthy you are. The other thing is really listen to your clients, look at their needs, look at their behavior that is maybe changing, and kind of try to apply it to your business. Maybe you were putting all the time eggs into one basket. Maybe try to diversify your business a little bit so you are spreading the risk. I know in some businesses it's easier than in others, but there is a lot of material, a lot of resources you can search online. So please just bear that in mind. Don't be just betting on one thing. Kind of one wonder pony, even if it was working until now, and maybe during the COVID, during the lockdown, things change. So look at clients, people's behavior, look at your potential clients that you can maybe attract with those diversifying products or services. The other thing, really important, because this is probably which most of us are guilty of, review your direct debits and spendings. So we would, and I'm guilty of that as well, we would have lots of direct debits set up, and they would just, obviously money would leave the account every month, and kind of you even forget that it's there. And you realize, for example, a gym membership or some kind of different membership, you didn't go to the gym for the last 6 months, but yet you pay in 30 or 40 pounds a month. Things like that, memberships in different bodies where maybe at the moment, if you're not practicing or if you're not fully in the business, you should be speaking to them about reducing the fees and things like that. So be in control of your spending and ask yourself, is this spending really necessary? Is this going to help me to grow my business, to maybe to keep my business afloat? So just be critical with this and make sure you're not spending unnecessarily, because we know that the resources are very limited at the moment. So you kind of need to take a critical view on this. And the last thing, but not least, and which I find is very important, where I would find many people who've been furloughed, laid off, or they're not as busy, they would say, oh, I'm so bored, I have nothing to do. And I think this is the biggest mistake that we are doing as the humans, watching endless Netflix series and just looking on your phone. No, use these times wisely. Invest in yourself and invest in your employees as well if you have. Educate yourself. Maybe look at even shorter online courses. Look where you can increase your knowledge on some things. Maybe you wanted to know about specific thing. You wanted to learn a bookkeeping, for example, or you wanted to learn how to prepare the tax return, or you wanted to learn how to use QuickBooks, for example. So use this time wisely. Read some valuable, maybe motivational books, enroll into courses that can help you to use specific software, for example, or to practice specific thing better. And also your employees as well, educate, give them maybe courses to do online. A lot of this material is free. You just need to look for it. And also look after yourself and maybe exercise, go out during the daylight for a walk, make sure you're getting the daily light on your face. Don't be just stuck in home. I know it's difficult, and with the lockdown there are restrictions, but you can go for a walk on your own, really just to clear the air. Don't be just don't become a couch potato almost and saying you're bored, because you have so much potential to do with the time that you have. So make sure you use it wisely. So those are really my pointers where I would areas which I would explore, just to make sure that you are future-proof in your business and you're making sure that you still will have business at the end of 2021. So I'm going to start taking questions now, because we already have some in the queue. So thank you very much for all those. So the first one is Rudolph from Facebook Messenger. Morning, Eva. I'm looking for an accountant to handle my accounts. Does the accountant need to be local? Rudolph, good morning, and thank you very much for your answer. And this is a very relevant question. And when I was talking about take the advantage of the technology and digitalize yourself, so this is the perfect example. No, your accountant doesn't have to be local at all, because in the current climate and current days, you can upload your receipts, your expenses, your sales. Everything can happen digitally. Obviously, you would need some kind of face-to-face video contact with your accountant. When they take in your board, they need to verify your identity and things like that. But no, you go by what you see. This is the right company for you, how they present themselves online, what is on their website, whether they educate their clients and things like that. So no, it doesn't have to be local. Those times are gone, really. And you want to get the best for your business. Maybe you are in specific type of business where you need kind of specialized advice. So look for it. For example, some accountants specialize in opticians, or in the retail, or in manufacturing, or maybe self-employed contractors. So think about how they can help you, because you want to have kind of very active relationship with your accountants, because they are there to help you as well, and don't be afraid to ask. Thank you very much for your question. Toby from Instagram DM. Can I automate my invoicing process? Will this help in prompt payments from client? Yes, of course, Toby. This is again very good question, and question on point. You can automate your invoicing. I think it's important to kind of have a procedures set up. So say if you, for example, you can bill in various stages of your job, of your project, or you just bill at the end for the whole job. So this can be all set up, and you can automate, especially if you have like fixed invoices. You can have recurring invoices. So those invoices are being sent to clients on a regular basis, rather than just when you have time to do them. And also with all those digital invoicing, sending the links, a lot of the invoices you can send actually with the link where the client can just click on the link and they can pay. So this is a great help with the credit control as well for you, that it's automating. QuickBooks has also fabulous feature where it kind of does audit trail of everything that is being done. So you can actually see when the client opened the invoice, if they read it. So it's not like you will ring them and they say, oh, sorry, I didn't open it. You can see everything. So everybody is much more accountable for what they do. And this is kind of nice and non-aggressive approach, how to get people to pay you on time and things like that. You can automate then also your credit control, sending out the statements. So absolutely, this is very good thing to do, and it's vital for you to be on top of it from the start, so that you don't have people who are not paying you for 3 or 6 months. You can also, if I dive into that as well, you can set up credit limits as well. So say, for example, if you bill in the client who already used your services or who you did the job before, if they owe you, for example, £1,000, it will alert you. So kind of you have to think, do I want to do more work for this client if they didn't pay me so far? Things like that. So the automatization of this is very beneficial to any business. Thank you for your question. Matthias from Facebook Messenger. Hi, I just started a business and I'm sure how much I need to put aside for tax and other costs. I'm VAT registered and the first month earned 3,500 excluding VAT. What are the main things I should think about to calculate this? Hi, Matthias. Thank you for your question. So I'll try to be kind of in a simple way. So if you are a VAT registered, and I'm assuming it's just a normal standard rate VAT because you didn't say otherwise. So anything that you charge, you have to charge the VAT on top. So if you imagine £3,500 and we have plus £700, I'm hoping I'm right, I don't need my calculator, where you have to charge extra for the VAT. So the final amount that your client pays you is £4,200. But those are not your money because this £700 goes to the tax office. So you need to be aware in terms of your cash flow planning that the portion of that is never yours. Okay, and many businesses are making this mistake where they kind of count with all the money that comes into their business, and then 2 or 3 months down the line when the VAT return is due, they are facing a huge bill and they don't have money for it. So it's not your money in the first place. But obviously you can offset this, what we call output VAT. You can offset it with the input VAT, which is your purchases. So for example, if you build client for the job where you had to buy material or you had to buy some goods, you can claim the input VAT against it. So you do offset the VAT. So your VAT liability is less than it would be the £700. So that's the VAT. The other side is the income tax, obviously. So there isn't like specific formula because it really depends on your taxable profits. But if you look at how much you've earned, what's your turnover in net without the VAT, and if you look at your expenses, so assuming they are all allowable expenses, not capital expenses because they dealt differently. There is the tax there is a tax 20%, but you need to take into consideration your personal allowance. So say if your profit is 20,000, your allowance is 12,500. So your taxable profit is 7,500, but then you need to make sure that you're not claiming expenses which are private, so which are not allowable, so you would be adding them. But kind of, I would always keep, if you keep, for example, about 15% of what you take, that will give you a bit of room. If you can, a minimum of 10%, definitely I would keep always from what you have, what the takings in, minimum of 10%, but if you can do it 15. So you kind of offsetting, but it all has to be allowable. You can't be kind of mixing private and business. It all has to be for the business purposes. And this is great for you to be on top of it and have a draft overview is to use digital record keeping, bookkeeping software in the real time, where you always are up to date with your data, and you can little bit say, kind of assume, you can say, okay, so this is probably will be my tax. So bear that in mind. There is a kind of tax calculator within QuickBooks as well. So that's very helpful tool that can show you, but this all assumes that we are dealing only with the business expenses. So make sure that kind of your records are clean from all those private things. So it kind of you are given proper picture. Well, I hope this answered your question, and thank you very much for that. Daisy from Instagram story, is there a limit to chasing an overdue debt? Thank you, Daisy, for your question. So it really depends, and depends on the business that you're chasing it from. But I would say after 6 to 12 months, probably you would be able to write the debt off. But again, it really depends on this business. So for example, if the business went to administration or is bankrupt, if it's bankrupt, you're probably not going to recover that. So it really depends on the situation, because sometimes if the administrator takes over the company, you can apply, as a creditor to get the money. So it really depends on the business and depends on the amount. And so it's quite individual, but if you speak to your accountant, they'll be able to help you and they'll keep you right. Eric from Twitter DM, good morning, Eva. After months of deliberation, I'm starting new business in February. I want to manage the accounting myself for the first 6 months. I wanted to ask you, should I use cash basis or accrual accounting? Eric, good morning. Thank you very much for your question. And may I say you're very brave, starting a new business, and I wish you all the best of luck. Before I say anything, and now into the issue. So if we are talking cash or accrual accounting, if you would record your books on the cash basis, you are losing the advantage of claiming capital allowances and things like that. So you need to make sure you are kind of clear on that, because if you would be using accrual basis on your accounting, so kind of that you applying everything to the specific relevant periods, you can then take advantage of capital allowances. So this is from the tax point of view. From the VAT, for the cash flow, but again, it depends a little bit on your business, depends how long clients take to pay you for the money that you invoice. You can have cash or invoice basis for the VAT. So really, if your clients take maybe 2 or 3 months to pay you the invoice, I would go for the invoice-based VAT accounting. If you issue invoice and the clients pay you straight away, you can use a cash basis. So it really depends on the type of business. I personally would use accrual accounting, especially if you plan in any capital purchases or anything like that. I would use that. It is a little bit more complicated maybe, but again, if you set up on digital record keeping software and then maybe speak to an accountant, find an accountant that would suit you, they can talk you through it and they can help you to keep you right, because obviously it is a little bit confusing sometimes, the accrual basis, but I think I would recommend that. Thank you for your question. Jamie from Facebook Messenger. Hi, Eva. I do my own accounting. I have a quick question. I am planning to invest in a website and digital marketing. Do you know if this will or can be classified as CAPEX or OPEX? Jamie, thank you for your question, and I'm going to be completely blunt. I don't know. So one of our experts in Intuit will get in touch with you, because I have no idea and I'm not going to blab about it at all. So, but somebody will get in touch with you in relation to this. Maria from Instagram DM. I am self-employed and not VAT registered. However, in the last quarter, my income went over the VAT threshold. Do I need to inform HMRC? Hi, Maria. Thank you for your question. The answer is yes. If you went over the VAT threshold, you have kind of 30 days then to register to let HMRC know, but you need to make sure you do it as quickly as possible, because you will have to then charge the VAT on everything. So if you imagine, so if you, for example, charging somebody £1,000, and if you don't add the VAT to it, so it would be £200 on top of it, the 20% will be eaten into your profit from £1,000. So you need to make sure that you do it as quickly as possible. You can do it online. It is quite efficient service. Sometimes you get, even when you apply, you get the answer online within a couple of days or 3 days with your VAT number, because you need your VAT number to be able to charge VAT on your invoices and make sure that the VAT number it stayed on your invoices. So I would do it as quickly as possible and kind of make sure that you communicating with HMRC, and you need to decide, are you going to charge the VAT on top of your invoice, or are you going to kind of include it? Again, it depends on the business, and I know it's very kind of tricky time to increase the prices, but hopefully this answers your question. The last question from Espen from Twitter DM. I have a question related to my filing my self-assessment for the bank interest section. How do you know what is taxed and untaxed? Thank you. Espen, hi, thank you for your question. So usually what banks are doing at the end of every tax year, you get kind of like a tax certificate with interest, and it will tell you whether it was gross or net, whether the tax has been deducted. So look out for this. Maybe you got it in the post and you didn't know what it was. So usually this is what would happen, that you would get like a statement or tax certificate on, and this is not just on the interest, it would be on dividends and things like that. So you can have, or you can have different banks, different interests, or so always you get this certificate where it shows you, and this is what you use as the basis for your self-assessment. Usually the tax is already deducted, but I wouldn't assume that you need that certificate to show you, because sometimes you just get it gross and you're still liable to declare the tax on it. So even if you didn't get any letters, probably just check with the bank, with the institution that was charging you the interest, just to make sure that this has been being dealt with correctly and that you declare what you need to declare, especially if you have few of those. I hope this answered your question. Guys, I want to thank you again for all the questions. As always, you are very clued in, you are right on spot. So thank you for being with me this morning. I would like to announce the poll results. So we have asked you, are you optimistic about your business growth in 2021? And I'm absolutely pleasantly surprised, because 100% of you said yes. This is what we need: positivity, optimism. Yes, things are hard, but we get through it. try to use the adverse situation and turn it into opportunity. I wish you all the very best. If you are struggling, guys, please reach out to our team if we can help you in any way. We are here to help you. This is why we are here. So please even post the questions and we'll get back to you, because we know that some businesses are really struggling. So I want to thank you again for tuning in this morning. If you have any questions, please get in touch with me on LinkedIn, Eva Mrazikova. And coming up on Ask the Expert tomorrow is Victoria Shepherd, co-founder of Specialty Coffee Shop and branch spot Queens of Mayfair. Tune in to learn how she launched a new business during pandemic and how to do PR yourself and organically grow your audience online. A reminder that if you need any more advice, you can join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMP community group on Facebook, where accountants and business experts are on hand 24/7. I have really enjoyed answering your questions. Thank you so much. Have a great day, have a great week, and mainly look after yourself and take care. Bye.